I'm AZ Drifter, and I'm one step closer to having my Z ready to go drifting. The most recent project I've been working on is an e-brake. I need something, I'll take this little e-brake handle and make it quite a bit longer so that I have some leverage, something to grab onto that's ergonomic for me when I'm drifting. I haven't actually used the e-brake in drifting before because I've never had something like this. I usually use a power oversteer or weight transfer in order to initiate a drift, but by using an e-brake you can initiate your drift earlier and it's more controllable. So I'm going to go for it this time around. Let me show you some of the things that I've done here and how I've gone about making an e-brake handle from stuff laying around the garage. The wise thing to do here is to go ahead and buy an emergency brake. I got this one on eBay. It's a legit 370Z emergency brake. That way I don't go tearing up my nice one. I had to make an incision in order to get this off. I'm not going to be using this handle anymore. And that exposed the rest of the assembly for me. So what I've done, I looked around the garage to find something that might work to slide over this handle, and I happen to have this piece of conduit, this piece of steel conduit laying around. So I cut a piece off, kind of measured to see what would be best for me ergonomically, and I came up with a piece about this long. So after doing that, I put a notch in the bottom and a couple of holes in the top, and that's going to allow it to slide over, and then I've got these holes so that it'll stay attached. Next thing I needed to worry about was how to attach some kind of trigger on there to catch this and allow for it to ratchet up and down freely. So I accomplished that with just a screw, which I pushed up through, and as you can see here, I made a little L, and what that does is allows me to set that in either position, either engaged or open. To provide some kind of spring action on the bottom, this is just actually a piece of coffee can that I cut out and put a screw in the bottom of that, and that holds that in position. Then on top of that, I've got a couple of nuts that I stressed against each other and put a little bit of Loctite on there. And then on top of that, I just got a little bit of tape. This is like a little black tape that you can stretch, and it's for electrical fittings. I took that, put it on top, and I also got a little vacuum line plug. Cut that down a little bit, slid it over the top, and now I've got a nice little knob. So to finish that off, a little plastic dip and some of this stuff that you actually stick the part in. So I immersed this one section in here. You can see maybe it's a little bit thicker, a little bit more rubbery, and it makes for a nice little handle that I can grab onto. So to put this all together, all I got to do is slide this on. The holes will line up. I'll just throw one screw on here now so you'll get the idea. So now I've got this e-brake handle that I can lift up and it'll stay. I could ratchet it over and it'll come up and down, pull it up, drop it, grab a gear, and we're drifting. So all this cost me, I don't know, maybe 20 bucks to make. Most of that was just the plastic dip. Everything else I had laying around the house. So I've done a couple other things with the car also. I wanted to increase the steering angle, so I made some little washers, little spacers. This isn't actually the one that I used. This was just one that I was working on. Actually had a friend of mine mill these down for me to get them, two of them that are exactly the same dimension that I could put in line with the inner tie rod, and essentially it lengthens the tie rod so the tie rod has more room to steer back and forth. I started off with a maximum 30-degree steering angle, and by using these little spacers I was able to increase that to 40 degrees. So that's going to be pretty significant. The more steering angle you have, the more sideways you can get without the car losing control and having the back come around the front. So you'll notice in any proper drift car that they'll have a mad steering angle, right? The wheels will go really far sideways. So I'm going to be like 90% of the way there with this, and that's probably as far as I'm ever going to get.